All right, greetings and salutations, everyone. Welcome to the Crypto Truth, where I give you the truth as I see it. So, there was a post on Twitter from the MetaCurrency Project just asking a simple question: is time currency? And this is for you, Nova. I decided that I wanted to answer this question, and this is very directly correlated to how we see currency. And well, I'm just going to break everything down. So the first thing I did, and by the way, this is my analysis, this is my opinion. It may be right, it may be wrong. This is just how I think, this is how I perceive things. I haven't done any deep research. I haven't read other people's stuff. I don't like to do stuff. This is my thoughts and my thoughts only. Some of it may be correct, some of it may be wrong, and some of them just might be an opinion. All of this, now, as I stated before on Twitter, this is going to be a lengthy video. So obviously, I understand that a lot of people get bored with my videos. It's too long. I understand that. Either break it up, or this might not even be a concern to you, but I promise you that when I get to my point, the end point, or I should say the middle to the end point of what my analysis is, you will see how this directly applies to you. And not only that, but your philosophical views on your own personal life. And we're going to get there. But first, let's go ahead, and I'm going to do my best to break this down. Now, the first thing I did was I said to myself, well, first off, we need to understand exactly what time is. We need to understand what currency is, right? And then we have to go by those definitions. So here's what I did: was I looked up, I just Googled it. That's all I did. So if you guys Google the same thing, you'll see exactly what it says. But the first thing I did was I looked for the definition of time. And it says time is the continued sequence of existence and events in an apparently irreversible succession from the past through the present and into the future. Okay? Now, currency, the fact or quality of being generally accepted or in use. So time and currency actually go hand in hand. Now, before I got something else here I wanted to read, but before I get into that, let's see how time and currency are actually correlated. So we got time. Oh, you know what? No. So we got currency. Make sure I spell currency right. Sometimes I'll be in a rush, and I just be writing stuff. I have bad penmanship anyway, so I guess it really don't matter. But anyway, so let's see how time and currency actually correlate, and then I'm going to connect the two and explain why time itself. Right? I believe that time itself is currency, but I'm going to get into that and explain exactly why. So first of all, how do we see currency? Well, we see currency today as something that we use on a daily basis, just a general thing, not definition. Actually, it says that the fact or quality of being generally accepted or in use. Now, generally accepted or in use. And what that means is that we're used to actually seeing something physical, right? Or like seashells and coins and gold bullions and all of these different types of currency. Now, what is that a representation of? Right? It's how do you earn, or how do you receive that currency? Well, you are given that currency through a job, right? A job or maybe you've sold something, which would be considered a job, entrepreneurship, either, however it is, you received the currency by doing a job. Now, here's the funny thing, is that what do you have to do for that job? Well, let's read what time is. Time is a continuous sequence of existence and events and apparently an irreversible succession from the past to the present and into the future. Well, if you have a job, let's just say you work at, what's a good restaurant? You know what? Let's, I know. Let's use Shiba Inu's restaurant or symbol restaurant, Wellies, right? That'd be a good one. I don't even know how to spell it, but I'm just gonna say Wellies. All right. So you put in time at Wellies, which is a job, and they give you currency, right? So it goes here, and so as you can see, there's a connection between the job, between time and currency, which is a job. Because it's actually, and this job actually enables you. Now, with this job or whatever it is, it depends on, now obviously when it comes to currency, it depends on what generation, what time period you're in, what you're using as the currency, right? So sometimes you can go out and you can pick the currency, or you can say, hey, you know what? Sunflowers are our currency. We only deal in sunflowers. So people have to go out every single day, grab a certain amount of sunflowers, and then, but that's the energy that's provided, which we're going to get into that because that's the very definition that I want to show and explain to you guys. But there are other ways to earn currency, and not just job or work or whatever it is, but there are tons of different ways. Well, you put the time in at Wellies, right? Why is that important? Because that is it says, in an apparently irreversible succession from the past through the present and into the future. So you spent time at Wellies, you get a job, or that is a job, excuse me, and you use that. So you spent time. I really should have put Wellies here. Let me put Wellies here. I think that would be better because I'm confusing my own self, and I have other things that I want to bring up. So you get the currency by working at Wellies and or doing something at Wellies. So wow, man, that looks bad. Okay, sorry you guys. Really didn't plan it out, did I? All right, that's better. Ooh. I don't have OCD, but I do like for some things to be a little bit in order. Okay, so with this, you spent time at Wellies and you received currency because you spent the time there, right? So now let's put this into now I have this up here for a reason, but let's put this in a circular motion, right? So we'll put time here. Job here, currency here. Now, I'm going to put something here later because there's something else that belongs here, and I'm going to explain to you exactly why. Wow. Missing my arrows. I'm very horrible. Okay, so you spend the time at a job, you receive, right? You receive the currency from putting the time in the job. So all of this is circular motion, happens over and over and over again, right? That's how we live our lives. That's how society has told us to live our lives. You put in a certain amount of time. I might as well shut this because it's going to get dry. Because this has to be something that we have to understand. And yes, this is getting to a point, and it's very, very. I'm going to show you guys how I personally have connected it. Maybe people may not see it this way, but how we live our lives is we wake up in the morning, we go to a job or, in the evening, however it is, and you put in the time. And the government or whatever job or whatever entity, whatever it is, says, okay, you're going to receive this currency. Now, that currency is a representation, right? It's a representation of your time. Or it's a representation of something that you have earned through your time. Now, everybody's time is valued differently, right? So, NBA player, some of them make $25,000, $30,000 a game. He spends 45, I think an NBA game is like 45 minutes if I'm not mistaken. Obviously, it seems longer than that. But you spend time playing a game and they receive that money. Now, that's $20,000 or $30,000. But your time that you spent, let's say you're masonry or you're in construction. That's something I've done before. And you wake up in the morning, or day labor, you wake up in the morning and they say, hey, we need you to go here. Why? Because you have your job. By the way, I had to do that back in 2007, 2008 when the economy crashed. My other job was I was working at night as a server, and in the morning I woke up early in the morning around 4 o'clock to go to the day labor place so I could earn some extra cash. Because, well, I felt that I put in the energy to earn that money so that I could take care of my family, and that's what we do. But obviously our time is considered different, right? And I mentioned this before in one of my videos recently. Time is equated. Time is treated differently and received differently. So you get different currency or value depending on where you are in the world, right? So you are valued more if, let's say you work in construction and you're building highways. They're saying, okay, we'll give you $16 an hour. Wherein as a politician, they go up there, don't solve any issues or problems, and don't have a full thought process or any kind of process, programmable process, but they receive $100,000 a year. And in this case, let's say they're receiving, $30, $35 an hour. I don't know. No, it's 100,000. I don't want to do too much calculations, but let's say $60, $70 an hour, right? All right. But let's say a hurricane comes through and wipes everything out. Not a hurricane. Let's say an asteroid comes and destroys everything. Now, the whole entire world, all of its leaders have just dropped off the map and says, you know what? We're done. There's nothing I can do here. Everything is over. Everything is done with. So now we got to start. The whole world has to start back over. Now, who do you think is going to be worth more? The politician that has never worked a day in their life, or the person who builds streets and railroads and roads and transportation and is building something for society? It's now viewed differently, and it's now viewed as something more valuable, because what good is a politician? Everything is destroyed. And now it's like, hey, unless you really come up with some good ideas on how to make the world work better, right? Now, I know this is a long story, and a long example, but I'm using this. It's very, very important for you to understand that we have been designed to be controlled and to understand who and where the value lies. And so when a government or entity or, wherever it is, that's why China has certain laws for their workers. America has certain laws for their workers. Over in South Africa or the whole continent of Africa, South America, all of these, all the countries have different rules and regulations and how they see it. Oh man, I almost said it because I'm going to jump into it. But how they see your time. So your time is valuable to different. Now, here's the thing. Here's the kicker. How do you view your time? We only get a chance to live once in this life. And if any of you guys, some of you guys believe in reincarnation and some of you guys believe in living forever in afterlife. I'm not talking about all that. Only thing I'm talking about is the right here and now. We only live one life. So the time that we have is what? According to this, irreversible. Apparently, in apparent event, existence and events in apparently irreversible succession from the past through the present and into the future. And so our time that we have, my time that I am just making this video is irreversible. And I wish I could take some of the videos back that I made and then I didn't have any volume. Man, that was frustrating. Man, one time I talked like an hour and the whole, it was on silent and I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. So now I check my videos. And as I say that, this will be one of the videos that I post and it'll have no, no sound. But in reality, we can't go back in the past. So how do you view your time? And where we're having a problem in society, and then I'm going to set this down for a second because this is very important. This is all going into cryptocurrency, and it's very, very important on how we even see currency in the first place. How we see our time. Well, a lot of us have realized, well, my time is valuable, right? So back in the day, well, some people back in the day, they used their time. They worked for 20 years and they got mistreated. They got talked down to, and they put a little bit of money into the stock market and a 401k, and they wait 20 years to have a little bit of stocks and bonds and all this kind of stuff. And they have everything all measured out. And after 20 something years, now they have all of this money and they can retire at the age of 67 or 66 or whenever 65 was back in the day. So they put in that time and that's how they lived their life and they felt like it was worth it. Well, the time that you put in, let's say that person was a construction worker. The time that you put in being a construction worker, you could take care of your family at that time period. The time was more valuable. You can get more and take care of your family than compared to now. So let's go to now. We're expecting young kids say, okay, well, I'm going to get into construction. And they have to deal with the same people, the same attitudes. And I'm going to get into this philosophical thing with humans because I think humans have a problem with management in general. And they also have a problem with power. And they also have an arrogance problem. And my arrogance have been wiped away from me, but that's a story for another day. That was at a very young age. So, but no matter how, what they say, absolute power corrupts absolutely. So, but this person has to work and he gets up 8 o'clock in the morning, 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, and he's working his 8 to 9 hour job. And he gets off from work, he's tired, and he's like, you know what? I got to do this for 15 to 20 more years. My father did this for 20 years and he came out just fine and he has all of this stuff. But wait, You do this and you can't even purchase a home after working 10 years of doing the exact same thing as your father, because the value of the home is different. You don't get as much as what you used to. So now time is considered, your time has a different value, right? And you're doing the exact same thing. You have the exact same knowledge. So why is your time worth less? And that's the problem that people are starting to figure out, especially those people. That's why there's a lot of social issues when it comes to this stuff, because a lot of people are figuring out, you know what? Why am I working 20 years? Why am I trying to attempt to work 20 years when after 20 years, if you do the calculations, you won't be able to afford a house? And that's doing something productive for society. That's not even, you're not being a doctor or a lawyer, and you're definitely not working at McDonald's. So you're kind of like, you're doing something productive, something that somebody has to do, is taking care of society. And guess what? Because your time is supposed to worth less, according to the government that you're in, you cannot take care of your family. So I hope that gives you a good picture of how I'm viewing time. Now, sometimes, right, how it used to be, and I'm going to get into the main thing of what I want to put here. And we're going to talk a little bit about this. Oh no, it's empty. Oh, God. I think I had my daughter drawing on this thing. Did I have another one? Oh man, I wanted to put it in a different color. It's okay. I'll just circle it. Energy. So we have something called energy, and that is supposed to be our barometer depending on where we are in time. And who chooses this? So it used to be back in the day, long time ago, where before we had all of this stuff, there was more of a bartering system, right? You build an axe, or let's say you build an axe. Yeah, you build an axe, and this person made a brick, or not brick. Let's say you have an axe, and this person, they make nets. That's perfect for fishing. Well, this guy needs some wood. The guy that has the fish net needs some wood, but he don't know how to build an axe. And this guy over here, he's like, man, I've been chopping trees all day. I need something to eat. I need a net so I can catch some fish. And so they get together and they say, hey, you know what? This is a great idea. Let's do this. Why? So what happened? They said, it is valuable to me so that your time and your energy that you put in this, by the way, we're going to get into energy. I'm going to explain in just a second as I go over this. But the time and energy put in for that axe and the time and energy put in for that net, those two guys got together, and does this sound familiar? In a peer-to-peer fashion, and said, you know what? This is a great idea. We're just going to switch. Well, now that value, they consider that value to be equal. The value that is equal is not, nobody came down. They didn't have to go to the chief. They didn't have to go into whoever's in charge. Or they said, no, you know what? Hey, how you doing? I give you this. You give me that. Okay, we're good. We're good. Thank you. Thank you. And then they move forward. And so now we have become more of a, society in which we're told what the value is. And I'm not going to get into capitalism or socialism and all that stuff, but absolute capitalism does not work. Hopefully people understand that and know that. This is not what I wanted to talk about, so I'm not going to get too much into it. But let's just go back and talk about the energy provided. That guy took time and energy. You hear that a lot, right? Time and energy. It's not worth my time and energy to do such and such. And then, but this person put in the time and energy for the axe, and this person put in time and energy for the net, and they created these things. And so they're like, you know what? Let's just switch. I have an extra axe because I make axes. You have an extra net because you make net. And we'll just switch, and there we go. All right? Now, hear me out. Now, what is the definition of energy? The definition of energy in physics, energy is the quantitative property that is transferred to a body or a physical system recognizable in the performance of work and in the form of heat and light. Energy is a conserved quantity. The law of conservation states that energy can be converted in form, but not created or destroyed. So, as you can see with that person with the axe, he used his energy, right? He moved, as you can see here, transferred to a body or a physical system recognizable in the performance of work. He moved his body, right? Because our bodies are made out of energy. He moved his body and he created that axe. And the other guy did the same thing for the net. And that axe and that net is proof, right? Is proof of the work, of the energy provided. He had to have put some energy, it just didn't poof come out of nowhere. And so you can see how all of this is created. So now, as I was stating before about wellies, we have more of a government government and a society, right? Because think about this. It changes how you view and value money, will change everything about you and your life once you fully understand what is at stake. Give you a great example. I know some people who are huge. Now, by the way, this isn't something that I'm not judging. This is not a judgment thing. Just guys, want you to see. There are some people who are huge into sports. Now, I like sports. I like watching sports. It's fun to me. More so football than my first sport, basketball. But I have reasons for that. But there's some people, they are diehard fans. They watch college football. They watch the high school. Oh man, he's gonna be great. The 5-star recruits, and then they watch college, and then from college they're watching the NFL draft, and then they're watching them in their careers, and they're like, oh man. So these people have literally taken the time and energy to study and to know all of these people because it's exciting and it's fun to them. Oh, but check this out. Not only are their time and energy consumed with understanding what is happening with these people, but they, because of entertainment value, right? Because we put a value on entertainment, but they make millions and millions of dollars. How? Because that very same person is like, hey, you know what? I'm what's the most ridiculous team out there? Dallas Cowboys. I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. I got the Zeke jersey. I got the Dak Prescott jersey. I got the Jerry Jones jersey, right? That's the owner, by the way. And they put all their time and energy. So a lot of their time and energy that they use for work or however they earn their currency, they feel like it is valuable to them on an emotional level that they will trade that energy in, because that's what you're doing. You're trading that energy in and saying, okay, I spent, I don't know, how much is a jersey, $150 or something like that. And there are a lot of people who are construction workers and I talk about construction workers a lot because I think it's a job that has to be done. And I think it's a very undervalued and disrespected job in general. Or career, excuse me, depending on how you look at it. But you have these things, and these guys, they work hard. They work real, real hard for their currency. But they turn around and they spend it on things that they feel is equal to the energy that they provided to earn it, right? So a lot of times, if you look at even, I'm not bashing on people, but a lot of women, they buy a lot of, buy a lot of clothes and stuff like that. And they're like, well, I work, it's my money. This is true. And so they go out and they buy the money, they buy the dress or whatever makes them cute. And sometimes they put it in a closet, and sometimes it don't even come out the closet. And they might look in there and they're like, man, no. You know what? I ain't got nothing to wear for this special occasion. How you ain't got nothing? All of that energy that you used, that you provided to go to this store and purchase X, Y, and Z, and you're telling me that you need to go out and buy another one. So what happens? Eventually, it gets to the fact that it's like, you know what? I don't even know why I bought this. I don't even wear this. But because at the time, the emotional value that it provided, she felt that, or he, whatever the clothing is, they felt, I'm going to get into this whole thing later on, but that's going to be on a different channel about pronouns. I'm not going to get into that right now. But they felt that that energy was worth it. Now, I hope I made my point. I hope I got my point across about how everyone views their time differently and values their time differently. Now, how does that correlate with currency? Well, obviously, if we're equating the time that's required to the energy, the time that's required, the energy that's given to that particular time or that particular physical product, we can see that the currency that we receive, it's possible that we could save our energy in some degree, right? Because with currency, you can save, and with time, you can give. With currency, you can spend. Can you spend time? And that's the question. That's really the question that's being asked here. And I say, yes. Because you can give, and I'm going to say spend here, but really I should say give. You can give your currency. Now you can save it too, but let's make it the same here. Let's use the same terminology on each side here. So you can give your time to Wellies. You can spend your time at Wellies. You can give your currency to Wellies because you want to buy something, and you can spend, and spending and giving are two different things, but I'm not going to get into that. You know what? No. I'm going to go back. I'm going to use save. Excuse me. I'm going to use save because I like the fact, because we're going to get into how that correlates with currency. Because nobody's going to give. You can, but nobody's going to be giving Wellies. Oh, I'm just going to give it to you. No, it's the same thing as spending. So I don't want to get into that. But time is different, because you can spend your time however you want, right? If you're living your life, some people choose to spend their time a certain way. You can also give your time to somebody else. But it's not really spending. You're giving your time to someone or something. And it may or may not be to earn or get a currency. Sometimes you don't even get that. So how do we see time? because we can use that as currency. It is a representation, right? Let's look at the definition of energy again. In physics, energy is the quantitative property that is transformed to a body or to a physical system recognizable in the performance of work and in the form of heat and light. I don't want to get too much into heat and light, but with time, we'll get into that. Energy is a conserved quantity. The law of conservation states that energy can be converted in form, but not created or destroyed. Let me ask you something. Can time be created or destroyed? And to our knowledge at the moment that we know of, the answer is no. Can time be formed? And the answer to that question from a what is it called? From a scientific point of view, the answer is yes. But also, if we think about how we think about time, so from a physical point of view, the answer is yes. We just don't know how to do it because we're looking at time and as the they say don't they say that time is a fourth dimension or something like that? But we're looking at time is in a different dimension, and can it be formed? Can it be formulated or disturbed? And the answer is yes. Because now we don't do that, but we've recognized that as light, light cannot exist in time that does not exist, right? Because that's the reason why we equate with time, and I'm not going to get into all of the equations because some of them are confusing to me. But as light exists, if in order for light not to exist, it has to slow down time, right? In order for light to not exist, it has to slow down time. What is the one thing that we know of that light cannot escape, and that is a black hole? Now, let's put this into our lives. Let's think outside the box and put this into our lives. When we're living in this world, in this society, we are working every day, some of us, to try and attempt to take care of our families. And we can look at it. The Federal Reserve raised things to another 75 basis points. And if you can just look at what our society, this is our society, where somebody at the top says, you know what, we need to make things more expensive. Why? Because of the fact that the economy is heating up, inflation. No, there's a problem. There's a problem with how there's an economical problem here on how everything is formulated. This is what happens when you're in a debt-driven society. Hello, this has nothing to do. Honestly, this all can be solved in a couple of steps, but this is a different channel. So, but when we're looking at how they are viewing things, well, for the people, well, you can, what was it? Such said, get ready for economic pain. Get ready for jobs to be lost and everything else. They don't care about your life. Your time is not valuable. All the time, all the hard work, all the sweat that you use to try to take care of, that you spent, that you gave to this, whatever job, whatever it is you're doing to try to earn the currency, they don't care. They don't care about it at all. So your life, your time means nothing to them. Your time means is not valuable. The hard work, the sweat that you use, everything else between, that is not valuable. For 6 or 7 years, and all of a sudden you're being fired or you're being let go, and you're used to a certain lifestyle and you can't live it anymore. Now you're gonna have to start. Some people have started living in their I just finished talking to a buddy. A lot of people are starting especially in the Orlando area. They're starting to live in their cars. It's getting hard out there to survive. And they're doing this. You have a government that's doing this on purpose. So guess what? Your life, your time, it doesn't matter to them. And they're looking at the whole entire picture. And so when we have to look at the whole entire picture, everybody's different. Everybody has their thing. But guess what? Everybody can't be millionaires. Everybody can't be a doctor. Everybody can't be a nurse. Well, we probably do need a whole lot more nurses. But management issues there. But everybody can't be a lawyer. What if everybody represented themselves in the court of law? Everybody can't be a judge. Everybody can't be a president. There are people out there, humans out there, that actually have solid jobs in which they can contribute to society. But guess what? Because someone, or because the economy, because of how this government has treated their finances, they feel, wait, what a second. I find it kind of odd that the economy or the world needs to slow down because of inflation. And that tells me, when you hear these people's voices, that tell you that they don't care about your time. Now, I'm telling you, I had to think about this a lot when I was when I was 20 years old, just got married, 21, excuse me, because my daughter was 21 years old. She's just born. Just got, married about, a year and a half ago. And I'm trying to take care of my family. And I have to sit here and I have to deal with this guy talking trash to me and calling me different names. And everybody says, oh no, just stay at that company, stay at that job, because you got to take care of your family. That's how a lot of people viewed my time, viewed my energy, viewed my life force. Is because when you don't value yourself and who you are, you will let anybody take over. And you cannot do that for yourself. You just can't. And so I was like, you know what? I don't care. I'm gone. I'm out. Well, Mr. Peterson, you're a great worker and everything, and I'm sure that we can work out something. No, because when you talk to me a certain way and you treat me a certain way, you don't even pay me enough. And by the way, I'm a millennial, so I'm kind of in between. I grew up with hard work and hard work and values and taking care of your family. And as long as you work hard and do what you're told to do, that you'll be taken care of. And I'm telling you right now that time is different now. Everything is different than what it was before. And I'm not saying it was great then, but I'm telling you right now, at least for me, about 20 years ago, that it did not work out. So you got to find out what your life is worth, what your time is worth, what your energy is worth. One of the things that I think is extremely unfair, especially because I was in the military, is that these guys, I've seen plenty of young guys, and they're dying and they're giving their life. They're giving their time and their energy to something that they don't even understand or know as a whole. And the sad thing about it, here's the sad thing. If you look at time, apparently irreversible succession from the past through the present and into the future. Once that person dies, they're gone. That's it. They're not coming back. And that's why I was a little bit sad. No, a little bit. I was greatly disappointed when we have a bunch of people dying over a soccer game or football, if you will. Your time and your energy is dedicated to that. And I refuse to dedicate my time and energy towards those things. That's why I tried. If you look at YouTube videos and stuff like that, you'll see people, they're good. I'm telling you, they're making plenty of money. Why? Because they're providing that entertainment value, so they feel like, well, you know what? I'm making a whole lot of money. Let me be an affiliate. So they ask you to click on their affiliate links. They ask you to do this. They have all this stuff. And a lot of people, I'm not hating on them, By the way, I'm not, because I would probably be doing the same thing. I'm just saying. But their energy, they're saying that their energy, they're putting the time and energy for whatever they're doing, and they're expecting some kind of compensation. And a lot of times what's happening, especially in the crypto world, this is why I don't like the DAOs, because everybody is worth a certain amount, and I don't like that. Power is not distributed equally, and I don't like that. So again, so when we're talking about time, yes, time is a currency. Time is something that you can give. Time is something that is the only thing that you cannot do is you cannot save time, but you can save a representative of time, which is whatever currency that is or whatever you have. So if I built myself a mansion by scratch from my hands, yes, that's a whole lot of energy, right? But I brick by brick, I sat there every single day for 20 years and I built this mansion. That value of that mansion, people will look at it and say, oh, wow, look at that. Because they can see it and they can respect it, because look at the quality of that time. The problem that we have now is that we humans are living our lives and trying our best to survive and take care of our families. And some do it in an irresponsible way. Some of us do it in a very responsible way. And we still, whether you're responsible or irresponsible, you're still in the same place in which you're a hamster wheel and you can't get anywhere. And it shouldn't work that way, but that's just life, right? We're taught to just accept that. And so, but we have what we call resumes and these 2D, these ways of, oh, well, I just need to get a picture of who you are so that I can make a decision on how much you are worth. But I promise you people, the things that I've been through, the things that you've been through, the things that we have done in our life, the experience, the responsibilities, the morals and ethics of our lives that we have for our own personal selves and for other people, they can't see it. And the only thing that they can see is something physical, right? That's it. So your whole entire life, everything that encompasses you, all of the energy that you have given to whatever it is you're doing in life, whether good, bad, or whatever it is, sometimes it's a representation, but a lot of times you don't really get the full picture. And that's why we have people who can go to clubs every night and go out and get drunk and have a nice party lifestyle, extremely irresponsible, stuff like that. Oh, they can go out and they can get a job because their paper says that their paper says that they did X, Y, and Z, and that's all that matters. And if you do the exact same thing, or maybe a little bit less, but guess what? You did all the right things in life, but guess what? Sorry. I remember trying to back when me and my ex, we were trying to get a Habitat home, and the lady looked at us, and I'd never forget this. She looked at us and said, "Man, you guys are doing all the right things in order to purchase a home, but you're just a little bit off." You know what she said? "If you got pregnant, then this will be no problem and we can make a Habitat home for you." And we're like, what? So basically, she was saying, not that she was insinuating, but she was saying, if you're pregnant, you qualify. Which means the more irresponsible you are, the more benefits that you get, the more responsible that you are, the more responsible that you spend your time. Good luck to you, Charlie. Good luck. You know what? Good luck to all the people who have tried to do the right thing in life. And again, I'm not going to make this too philosophical because it already is. But we can see here that how you use your time, how you spend your time, it can definitely be used as a currency. Now, in closing, how does that happen? How can we spend time and make time a currency, right? Because that's the question. A lot of people are like, man, you know what? You're talking about all this time and how it equates and how it can be used as currency and different things like that. And yes, we can transfer, right? So using energy, which again embodies what I believe embodies what hollow fuel is. When you use your energy, or when you use energy as a way, as a barometer for currency, you become more solidified and it becomes more of a solid currency because you can actually see it. You actually knows like everything that happens. Okay, so now how can you use your time as a currency? Well, there are a number of ways. So, well, I should say a number of ways, but there are a few ways. Again, going back to my example, we have a guy who going back to my first example, who has an axe. The other guy has a net. And each one says, you know what? Here's what I'm going to do. A guy says, hey, you know what? I am not sure. I need an axe. I have an axe. I don't know how to use it. I'm not sure how to chop that down correctly. And the guy who created the axe says, you know what? I will provide you instruction. So that energy and that time from his previous that he's mentioned, he's using that time, his time, all of the energy that's embodied this guy, he is now, it's his time. He chooses how he wants to what? Spend his time or use his time to do what? Show this guy. And this guy says, you know what? If you show me how to chop down trees, I will show you how to fish. And the guy says, you know what? I need some firewood. So you show me how to chop down those trees and firewood. And I show you, this is why information is important in life. And I'll show you how to fish so that during the wintertime you can stay warm and I'll have something to eat. Or excuse me, say that in reverse. I'll stay warm because you teach me how to chop wood, and you will have something to eat because now you know how to fish. And by the way, I'll teach you how to make it last longer as well. Wow. Give me 1 second here. Okay. I just wanted to make sure. I think I'm a little bit. Oh, man. Yep. Just as I figured. A little bit over time. But I'm almost at that hour mark. So. But this is how my mind works. Again, this is how I solve issues and I solve problems in my own personal life. And there's been a lot of things that's been happening to me recently, and I have to break things down and I have to find out exactly how to make it work, because there's a lot of things that happen in my life. One of my videos that I made a while back when I had a live, when I was live, someone asked me, man, how do you deal with all of this stuff that's going on? Well, that's how. You got to have a certain thought process. You have a certain mindset, and then you have to apply it to your life, and you have to be truthful to yourself. And I understand for 100% that in my life, we all can't do it by ourselves. So when we're talking about time, you can take that time, you can learn from each other, and you do that by transferring information, because now we're in an information age. And when you transfer information to and from each other as a society, as a community, and you say, hey, you know what? That guy over there knows how to help out with this. I am going to offer him this or this service because I know how to fix his toilet, his tub, or his sink, but he knows how to fix roofs. So you know what? we're going to look at each other and say, hey, you know what? How can we make this work? How can we help each other out? How can we teach each other? Because guess what? The next currency, the next thing is not just time used as a currency, but it's more on like information is used as currency. And that's what's going to create a more stable society, because now, right? Now we have the knowledge to help each other out from different points and different angles, and how to live life and how to do it more efficiently. And it's a shame that government officials can't do it, because they don't want to change anything that's happening in their countries and in their governments. They don't want to change anything. They don't want to change their philosophy. They don't want to change a thing. And they don't care, as we can clearly see, about what's happening in our economy, what's happening in leadership, what's happening all around the world, not just in the United States of America. They don't care about the time that you have put in for your life. So your time has now become less valuable, which makes time in itself a currency. Anyways, thank you guys very much. As I always say, do your own research, do your own research, do your own research. This is the end of the video. I've stated this plenty of times, and this is the reason why, again, I like the way the Holo organization is trying to do things, especially how they're trying to use Holo Fuel and the hot token. But again, it does take a lot of work. We don't know exactly how things are going to go. I don't work for them. I apologize, you guys. But anyway, as I always say, do your own research, do your own research, do your own research. And last but not least, above all else, you guys, please, 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 it's going to get rough. It seems like it's going to get rough out there. Be safe, okay? Bye, you guys.